Some people feel most alive in the quiet corners of their own homes. They don't crave the noise of crowded streets or the attention of strangers. Instead, they find comfort in familiar walls and the sound of stillness. To outsiders, they might look like someone who avoids life, but really, they're participating in life differently. These individuals are not running away from the world, they are running toward peace. And there's a psychology behind this preference. Research suggests that people who love staying at home often have highly active internal worlds. Their imaginations, their ideas, their emotions, all of it is vivid. Inside their minds, there is movement, depth, and meaning. Home is not a hiding place. It's a sanctuary where all of that can breathe. Psychologists sometimes call this high internal self-presence, the ability to feel more connected to one's inner world than the outer one. These people don't need loud excitement to feel joy. They can stare out a window, sip a warm drink, and feel a kind of fulfillment others chase in distant places. Their hearts don't beat faster in crowds, they beat steadier in silence. But here's the interesting part. It wasn't always this way. Many of them once tried to fit into the rushing world. They tried matching the energy of friends who love parties, adventures, constant movement. And somewhere along the way, they realized something. Their calm wasn't a flaw. Their desire for solitude wasn't a weakness. It was simply who they were. I remember the first time I understood this. I thought staying home would make me feel left out or lonely. But instead, I felt understood. By the space around me, I realized I didn't need noise to feel alive. I didn't need everyone's eyes to feel seen. I began to value the sound of turning pages more than the sound of applause. That's when I understood. Peace is also a way of living. Staying home doesn't mean being alone. Sometimes it means being with yourself and truly listening. And that's something the busy world often forgets to do. There is a unique trait shared by many people who prefer staying home: introspection. They think deeply. Every small moment becomes a story. Every memory, a lesson. They feel emotions fully. Joy becomes rich. Sadness becomes art. Hope becomes direction. They don't rush through their feelings to keep up with the pace of others. They take time to understand them. Studies show that people who enjoy solitude score high in creativity, empathy, and emotional intelligence. Their calm helps them understand people better, even if they themselves are not always understood. But sometimes the world mislabels them. You're missing out. You should socialize more. Don't you get bored? These words sting because they imply that homebodies are incomplete. Yet many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators were homebodies. They didn't always stand in crowds. They stood in their rooms, refining ideas that would change the world. Maybe that's the hidden truth. Silence has its own form of communication. It teaches patience, observation, and a kind of strength that doesn't need attention to exist. Still, a curiosity remains. If home feels so safe, what are they protecting themselves from? Sometimes it's overstimulation, noise, chaos, emotional unpredictability. Their nervous system craves stability, a place where energy can settle instead of constantly react. Home gives them control over their environment, and that control gives them peace. Sometimes it's trust. They give their heart carefully to only a few people, not because they're cold, but because they feel everything intensely. They know the value of emotional safety, and sometimes it's simply preference, not fear, not avoidance. Just a choice to stay in a space that feels warm and familiar. They have hobbies that don't require a crowd: reading, gaming, painting, watching favorite films, building something personal. Joy becomes a quiet ritual rather than a loud celebration. They measure happiness in moments, not events. But here's a secret they rarely say out loud. They love deeply. They care quietly. They notice everything. Because when you remove distractions, the heart learns how to focus. If you're someone who loves staying home, you might have felt misunderstood. You might have questioned whether your personality is something you need to fix. You might have wondered if something is wrong because you don't enjoy loud gatherings. But what if nothing is wrong? What if the world simply needs more people like you? People who listen before speaking, think before acting, feel before pretending. Let me shift for a moment from talking about them to talking as one of them. I once thought the world would forget me if I stayed in my room too long. But then I noticed something. The world inside my mind was blooming. Thoughts grew like gardens. Ideas kept me awake more than any late-night party ever could. I found meaning in the simplicity of my own space. And slowly, I realized home is not walls. Home is a state of mind. And now, it's time to speak directly to you. Because maybe you're one of these people. Maybe you've always felt a little different. Maybe you enjoy your own company more than the noise of crowds. Maybe the world hasn't celebrated that part of you yet. But your quiet is powerful. Your silence has depth. Your solitude is a gift, not a burden. And if you stay with me, there's something important still waiting to be said. The truth is, people who love staying home aren't avoiding life. They are living it with intention. They don't want to waste words on small talk or time on shallow experiences. They want meaning, authenticity, real connections, even if those connections are few. Psychologists say that people who prefer solitude are often highly self-aware. They know what drains them and what nourishes them. Most people never learn this, but homebodies learn early. It doesn't mean they never feel lonely. Loneliness and solitude are not the same. Solitude is chosen. Loneliness is not. A person can feel lonely, even in a crowded room, but solitude gives strength. Some days staying home feels like protection. Some days it feels like freedom, or the freedom to simply be. Let's go deeper. This isn't just introversion. Even extroverts sometimes need the peace of home to recharge. It's about emotional energy, where it's preserved, where it drains. These individuals don't open up to everyone. They evaluate emotional safety before letting someone in. Their inner life is complex, a studio of imagination. They can turn silence into creativity and routine into ritual. They know their triggers. Home lets them regulate space, time, and emotion. But here's a paradox. Sometimes they love home because the world once disappointed them. A broken friendship, a betrayed trust, a feeling too heavy for others to understand. So they built a place where they never have to apologize for being themselves. If you've ever chosen to stay home because outside felt heavy, you're not alone. You're learning to protect your peace, and that's emotional wisdom. Staying home doesn't mean you don't dream. Your dreams aren't small, they're internal. You dream of meaning, beauty, authenticity. You don't want 100 people cheering. You want one person who truly understands. And maybe you're waiting for the right moment, the right people, the right softness in the world. Here's something personal. Home is the place where you don't fear judgment, where you don't have to perform, where exhaustion melts into comfort. Some days you look out the window at life rushing by, cars moving, people hurrying, urgency everywhere. And you quietly smile because you know the real treasure is inside. Still, society glorifies hustle, as if rest is laziness, as if stillness is failure. But rest is part of growth. Stillness is part of clarity. Silence is part of understanding. You may be home more than others, but your life isn't paused. You're observing, healing, becoming. And because you feel deeply, you love deeply. Your relationships, even if few, are authentic. If someone is in your life, they matter. You offer loyalty, gentleness, and attention that others overlook. You notice the sigh someone hides, the message they don't send, the strength behind their silence. You understand emotions not just through words, but through pauses. That makes you a rare kind of strength. There's a beautiful quality many overlook: self-companionship. Home-loving people don't fear their thoughts. They don't run from emotions. They can sit with themselves and still feel whole. That's not loneliness. It's connection. So let me speak to you clearly, honestly. You are not strange for loving home. You are not unambitious. You are not fragile. You are not missing out. You're building a life that doesn't exhaust you. And one day, when the time is right, when the world feels aligned with your heart, you'll step out. Not because you're forced, but because you choose to. And that choice will make the outside feel even more beautiful. Until then, drink your warm coffee slowly. Keep discovering the worlds inside your mind. Keep protecting your peace. Keep loving quietly but deeply. Because the people who love staying home are the ones who make the world feel like home.